Good morning.
Good morning.
Ah,
Happy
it's 8.
Wednesday.
It is. It's 8 a.m. Welcome to another episode of Force for Growth Live, your morning wake up call because
Yes.
it's
Thank you for
8 a.m. We're going to get your morning started off right. We're going to feed your mind with some good information. We're going to get you going. Comment below. Let us know what you think. And if you're on the run, what can they do, Courtney? If they're on the run and they're rushing and they're like, oh, I can't be on Facebook right now to listen to this awesome show.
right. Well, that's okay because it's recorded. So you can listen to it anytime. Right now, what's most important is it's hump day. So hashtag hump over your hurdle and basically conquer whatever you have excuses about and figure out a way to get to the next step. That's it. I don't care what it takes, but if it's on your list, if you're putting it off, get it done.
Get it done. And
Hashtag
if you're on a
hurdle.
rush, you can go listen to the audio version on forceforgrowth.com.
Yes, I see where he was going with that now. Yes, all the episodes
All
in
of
one
them,
spot on all your platforms.
all the all the archive. And soon we're gonna be have an app on Fire Stick. I'm working on that now.
Ooh,
Isn't that
it's
exciting?
exciting stuff.
What are we
It
talking about
is.
today, Courtney?
Today we were talking about excuses.
Ooh,
Insert evil laugh.
why evil
That's one
laugh,
of my
Courtney? Why are you inserting evil laugh?
because it doesn't matter what level you're on with excuses, you can always improve.
That
So
is true.
we're talking to everybody, but mostly we're talking to ourselves. Or if I say anything feisty or harsh in this episode, I'm talking to myself. So that's my disclaimer. But
Oh no.
yeah, I have a lot of experience of being held back by excuses because of my own choices. So I do it differently now. So I'm very passionate about this
That's a good
for
warning
the most.
that we're gonna get feisty Courtney today. Thanks for the heads
I can
up.
feel. Yes,
Let me
yes,
ask you, Courtney.
excuses. Okay,
In the past, what was your favorite excuse?
because there's dozens. I think they were all different forms of I'm not good enough. I didn't say it exactly like that, but it would have been like, "Oh, I'm not ready for this," or, "Oh, I haven't done this yet," or, "I haven't gotten a degree," or, "I haven't," insert. But it all was under the category of not being enough. And that one, finding the root of that and reframing it and changing that story I told myself has completely changed my life, hands down.
And that's the key.
So,
Man, you get straight to the point. I love it, Courtney, because that's the thing. When we start in this journey in self-development, what I see a lot of the time is we try to get rid of the excuses. However, for most people, when they first start out in self-development, and it's totally understandable, and I get it, and I understand, and that's why we're talking about this, but they only take care of the top level excuse,
mhm,
thinking that's the problem.
yeah,
However, the truth is, like you just said, it's several excuses, but they all kind of come down to one base excuse, the root of it. So you have
mhm,
to dig in there. You have to dig in there and get to the root of the excuses. If you think
yep,
that the
it's there.
excuse is, if you think the excuse is, I don't have time, it's most likely
Why
not
aren't
it.
you worth giving yourself time? That falls under the I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough hat too, because you're not even considering giving yourself time. You're not even considering prioritizing your time or looking at it and putting yourself, in a position where you do have 10 minutes to work on this. You don't even think you're worth that. So it's a big problem. This is a huge problem.
And it could be fear. Like that's one of the big ones. But even when you get to fear as the excuse, I I challenge you to dig down even further. What exactly are you afraid of? Are you afraid of rejection? Are you afraid of success? Which,
Hmm.
by the way, that's my least favorite excuse. Well, I'm self-sabotaging me because I'm afraid of success. I'm not saying that it's not true, and I'm not saying it's legit, but I'm just saying that that's my least favorite excuse.
Yeah.
I don't
Let's
like
see.
it.
Jesse said at the beginning, some might think that they are going deep, but don't realize. it because they haven't developed the skill yet. Yeah, that's a great point, Jesse. Yeah. As you get better, you'll be able to go deeper and deeper.
Yes.
And it all starts with allowing yourself to go there, which is often blocked by our excuses. And look, the biggest problem with our excuses is they're valid. A lot of them are valid. And a lot of society relates. So most people are going to agree that's true. You don't have time. That's true. You aren't ready. That's true. You haven't done that first step yet. So why do step 5? Okay. But you don't get what you want and rely on excuses at the same time. Or the way I heard it in MLM, you can't make money and excuses at the same time. Pick one. I've also heard another line that I've repeated for years is take your excuses to the bank and try to deposit them. You just write them out on that little deposit slip and come on.
It doesn't work.
So it's just, I see the growth I've halted myself from. And if I would have allowed myself the growth 5-10 years ago, I could be impacting a lot more lives now. Now that's okay, because beyond anything, I'm more grateful for the lessons because it gives me the conviction to be as passionate as I am now because I'm so familiar with the other side and I can recognize it in others. So where you're at right now, that's okay. Take note of it, learn through it, grow through it, because that'll enable you to help someone else who will also be in that position later. And when you come along, you have the skill, just like Jesse said, that you have the skill to point it out to them because they can't quite go that deep yet and find the root of it, or they haven't realized that a lot of these excuses are related. So, yeah, that's where I'm coming from. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Give me one of your old favorite excuses.
I can't afford it.
You can't afford it. Perfect. I love it. Because that's a common one. That's another common one. I can't afford it, which is also true. And it's valid in some cases. It is a very valid excuse. So we're going to do what I call working the excuse. We're going to work it. Okay. So what does that mean? Do you remember that old Missy Elliott song, Work It?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the course of that song, she says, flip it and reverse it. Right? All right. So flip and reverse that excuse.
Okay. So I know you don't mean I can afford it. Can you give me an example so I can play along and understand?
Okay. So that is a good flip, but is that really the right flip? Try it on like a pair of pants. Is that really the right flip?
No.
Okay, good. So then go ahead.
I have more than I need. I think you're going somewhere deeper than this, but okay.
No,
okay. I have more than I need. Okay.
Okay, try that one on.
I have more than I need. I mean, that one gives me warm fuzzies.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
see?
It doesn't make me feel like I'm in lack or scarcity like the previous line did.
Correct. And it's just about taking yourself out of it and thinking about the excuse and allowing yourself, like Jesse just said, to get out of your head. Because there's no right or wrong answer. So here's the thing. You could say, the truth is, I can't afford it now. Oh, that's another good way to flip it. I totally forgot about that. To put the truth is in front of it. Give me another excuse, Courtney. Give me another one of your old excuses.
I don't have time.
Okay, now flip it and reverse it, starting with the truth is.
The truth is, I have time for what's a priority to me.
Boom.
Yeah.
Try it on.
I love that. And I love that, if I remember correctly, at the UPW and the Dickens process, but like Tony wants you to tap your heart. I'm sorry if that's making the sound on the mic, but tap your heart. The truth is, the truth is, the truth is, and keep repeating it until it's built into your body. That's what that just took me back to. So
correct. It's a lot easier to flip it and reverse it when you start the sentence with the truth is.
The truth is.
Because we know the truth. We know the truth, right? So one of my
heart knows the truth, even if your head's getting in the way, which, thank you, Jesse. Yeah, which she just said, get out of my head. And this I struggle with, and that's something y'all tell me all the time. Or you probably heard it live. Courtney, stop and breathe. Stop and breathe. If you're all frazzled, well, the term Tony Robbins uses, if you're in your head, you're dead. Okay. So just get in your heart. So yeah, so I do that often. I'll just put my hands on there. So thank you both, Jesse, in the comments.
It helps. It helps. But here's the thing. It's about getting out of that state, because excuses put you in a state. And we know what's the triad, Courtney? Tell me about the triad.
The triad is a term Tony Robbins. Man, we're really on Tony this week. Okay, it's Say It with Destiny week. So, but the triad is the things you focus on. So your focus, your language, and your physiology. So,
and language.
These are the three factors in language. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the factors that literally control every meaning you put to everything and what guides your life, the rules you set for yourself. So what you focus on, where you focus, energy flows, and your language, the words. So he's been doing it to me in this episode. There, you can say, I don't know, you can use
breathe,
the word
Courtney.
excuses.
Hold on. Breathe, Courtney.
Okay.
Breathe.
Okay. Like you can use the word excuses, or you can use the word priorities and still talk about the same subject, but which one feels better, or which one, the language you use dictates your state too. Not all of it. Most of it's your physiology, but the language you use can absolutely impact it. So whereas just like you did earlier, instead of saying your excuse, say my priority is, so just pay attention to the words you use. I say it all the time, but I'll repeat it. They call it spelling because you're casting a spell. So it's very important to pay attention to your language. So that's that part of the triad. And then physiology is your
body.
It's everything with your body, but it's your state. It's kind of, I think of it as how your soul is kind of coming through. Like your, what am I trying to say? I'm gonna take a deep breath. So when you learn how to pay attention to your state and change your state and center yourself when you're maybe in a realm of a lot of excuses or really worked up or really anxious, and if you can center yourself, it feels like you're bringing your soul into the conversation. So instead of just talking to your pea brain, lizard brain, whatever you want to call it, that's in panic mode all the time, you can change your state, and the easiest way to do that is change your physiology. That's what I was trying to say. So basically learn different techniques that get you into different states, and it comes down to asking yourself better questions. When we're running this excuse loop, it's autopilot. It's not.
Let's call it a program. Call it the excuse program, because that's what it is.
That's a good one. Yeah. So when you are choosing to press play on the excuse program, it puts your body in a certain state. It puts the language you will use in a certain category, and it limits you to that a certain. I'm gonna hand it back to you, Ricardo, because I'm still trying to. But like
when you put that,
he's that's an review. Yeah.
So when you put that, thank you, Courtney. So when you run that excuse program, think about, let's go with the excuse, I don't have enough money, or I can't afford it. I can't afford it. If you run that excuse program consistently, and that's what you focus on, and that's what you constantly tell yourself, how are you going to feel? Are you going to feel good and energized, or are you going to feel down and dirty? If you continuously run that program, I can't afford it. I can't afford that. I can't afford that. Or, ooh, I wish I could afford that. That's still the same version of the same program. So now when you work it, you flip it and reverse it, like Missy Elliott says. Thank you, Missy, for that line. So you flip it and reverse it by starting off. The truth is, I can't afford it now. The truth is, I can work harder and earn more money to afford it. The truth is, whatever it is. So that will immediately change the focus. Ooh, there you go. That's a great one. Yeah. That's a great one. But the minute that you change that, you change your focus, you're changing your language. And by default, when you change two parts of the triad, you change your physiology. So immediately you're out of that state. And then you're no longer focusing on it, which is going to immediately change how you feel about it. And it'll get you out of that stuck state with that excuse. because we
Mhm.
get into a stuck state. We don't want to be in a stuck state. Nobody wants to be stuck. But if you can still constantly run that excuse program, whatever your favorite excuse is, it'll get you down. And all you have to do is just rewrite that program, flip it and reverse it.
Mhm.
Flip
And
it
I
and
I
reverse
love how
it.
you just broke that down because, like, when you're in the excuse program, it feels like tunnel vision. It feels like there's no way out. But know that you have tools, move your body, turn on, Jesse said, dance around, turn on some music, do what you need to do to get you out of that state and then come back to that question, that excuse, or reframe it then. So if you can change your state first and then flip it and reverse it, it's going to be a lot more impactful. But either way, just grab something, whether that's jump up and dance around, whether that's reframe the actual line you're saying.
Correct.
It's there are so many ways to do it, but the biggest thing is change it. Stop it
And like
right now.
Bobby
Whatever you have to
Cassio
do to
just
break it.
said, Bobby Cassio just said, it's magnetic. And it's true. Those words could not be any truer. It is magnetic.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to attract into your life if you're running constantly the excuse, I can't afford that? Are you going to
You're
attract
attracting
abundance?
no lack
No. Lack.
because you're focused, and it's
Scarcity.
that simple. You're focused on lack, you're going to attract lack. You're focused on abundance, you're going to attract abundance. It's not more complicated than that.
Correct.
However, it's the autopilot and the program you've designed for yourself. So make sure it's
Correct.
not an excuse.
So when Bobby says it's magnetic, the minute that you flip it and reverse that excuse to I don't need it, or whatever your flip and reverse is to I can't afford it, now you're attracting something else into your life automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Automatically. Just by flipping that excuse, flipping and reversing it. And plus, who doesn't like to say flip it and reverse it?
Right? I know. I was about to say, I so hope it's yellow. It's stuck in my head. And that's the biggest thing with manifestation, especially because I think just that term alone, when you want to make something happen and so you have yourself and then you have your goal. Every time you use an excuse, you're building a door in between you and what you want. And what I mean by that is, okay, you can't afford it. Well, that's you telling yourself it's not even worth trying. It's not even worth looking at how you could afford it. How can you earn this? How can you blah, 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 So it's just flipping it, but flip it and look at the toolbox. But that's the analogy I really want you to see are every excuse, every single one. Some people have 20 different excuses for why they haven't done one thing. That's 20 doors. And every time they get up to that door is another test of should I quit? Is it worth it? Or should I charge through? So you built the resistance up and then you stop because, oh, I guess it's not meant for me. There's a lot of resistance. And that's just how a lot of people go through their life. And it bothers me. Like the key is in your hand. So just recognize you're building the partitions. I'm not saying like you're going to figure it all out in the one try, but you won't figure it out building more doors in between. And that's what excuses are. Or the other analogy I like is like picture every excuse you use. That's like a bullet in your business. So every time you're like use an excuse, you're just putting another bullet in the gun and you're aiming it at your business. And then you blame others or you blame something else outside of yourself. So we're not bashing you. We're just saying wake up, whatever level you're on, take an honest look, flip it and reverse it. That's
Yes.
all.
Stop shooting yourself in the foot. Stop shooting yourself in the foot. Metaphorically. And if you're actually
Literally.
doing that, please stop.
Yeah.
If you're literally shooting yourself in the foot this morning at 8:31 a.m., please stop. Don't do that.
Yeah. No. It's and I love Dean Lindsay's book, Big Fat Goals. I can't quite reach it, so I'm not gonna grab it. But that's just a very cute, easy read book. But the thing that I took away from that lesson with Dean Lindsay is the reasons we have reasons whether we're doing something or we're not doing something, we have reasons, So you set out on a goal and tomorrow you're going to wake up and do this or whatever. But when tomorrow comes, you don't feel like it. And the fact is, you have reasons to not feel good. Now, whether they matter or not, whether they should be your reasons, that's up to you. But understand that you do have reasons and you're not just being lazy. You're not just, you know, lack hustle, like all these things in these trendy terms. You're not missing anything. You're not needing to make a certain amount of money so that what you have to say is valuable. You need to do it now and you'll figure it out on the way. And you'll
Stop
help
the
a lot
excuses.
more on the way.
Yeah, just stop the excuses. Enough. Comment below if you're
Yeah.
watching right now. If you're watching live, comment below or comment below either way if you're watching this on the replay.
Right.
But what's your favorite excuse? What's your favorite, or what was your favorite excuse?
May I ask you what's been the most
My favorite
limiting
program
Ricardo excuse every time?
is I don't feel like doing this. Oh yeah, I could totally do that, but I don't feel like it. I could totally dominate this area or this space, but I really don't feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesse says, mine was, I'm tired.
Yeah. That's a big one. Because guess what? Society as a whole is unrested. Our souls are tired. Because we're
So
spinning our wheels chasing excuses and things like that. But yeah.
my flip
You
it
don't feel like
to my flip it to I don't feel like it is the truth is I really don't want to do that. I really don't have any interest in doing that. But sometimes I just get so charged up, like I see someone doing something and I'm like, oh, I could totally do that way better. But is that really the right reason to do something?
No.
No. I need to just say the truth instead of just saying, oh, I could totally do that better and I could totally dominate that and I could totally show them how it's done, but I don't feel like it. The truth is, I really don't want to do it. I'm just being petty.
You're trying to make yourself feel better for not doing something to avoid the self-shame for not doing it. All of these are programs in his own head that he's
But the truth is, I really don't want to do it. It's just like, ooh, I could show them how it's done if I really wanted to, but I don't really want to.
So does that eliminate, like, do you take a lot of stuff off your plate when you realize I don't want to do this? And what amount do you still push through? Because I mean, we all know Relentless Ricardo, right? So we know there's stuff you hammer out and get done, but does that really help you filter out what you should prioritize?
So what ends up happening is if I see someone doing something that I think that I could do better, or it looks like a good idea, or I just want to challenge myself, I typically find the middle point. Instead of going extreme, super like, oh, let's just go attack this. I'm like, okay, if this is something that I really want to truly try and pursue and do, where is my point to where I'm willing to give this much effort to it? Instead of just going all above and beyond, because that's typically what I would do. And then Jesse gives me this look of, oh, he's at it again. Like, what? And then she'll even ask me, why are you doing this? Oh, I'm doing this just to prove a point and to show XYZ how it's really done. The truth is, XYZ don't give a damn what I'm doing or not. That's the truth.
Yep. XYZ is still caught up in their own excuses. They haven't even looked up to see you yet.
They ain't even worried about me. But I'm over here creating a challenge in my own head that I'm like going to dominate and beat them at their own game. And they don't even realize that we're playing a game.
You just said it. Beat them at their own game. You're stepping into somebody else's game and they don't even notice. And then you're spinning your wheels and your energy. Yeah.
It makes no sense. But I really have to step back and look and think and say, okay, is this something that I really want to pursue? Is this something that I really want to do? Is this something that I'm truly interested in doing and pushing forward with? And sometimes it's no, but then sometimes it's okay, yes, but not at that level.
Mhm.
I just want to put my toe in the pool and see what it feels like. And then it might not manifest or end up being anything big, but then sometimes it might. Who knows? But at least I'll give it a try.
Mhm.
And typically, what happens after I do give it a try for a week or 2 or 3, I find out it's not really for me, and then I stop. And I'm like, "Oh, this was not a good idea. I'm not really interested in this."
So imagine if you'd waited a year to even experiment with it, but bashed yourself that entire year because you were too lazy to do something you said you'd do,
Correct.
or whatever fill in the blank excuse you run on loop, you know? So imagine that versus just stick your toe in. Oh, no, that's not for me. And being reassured and validated and confident, certain that that's not for you. Look at all that energy he can now hand over to a project he wants to. See? Like
Correct.
it's pretty fascinating to decipher your own formula.
Let's see here. Jessie says, "The truth is, her old excuse was, 'I'm tired.' The truth is, the truth is, I obviously can run on only 4 hours of sleep for several days, but I don't want to do that. LOL." Good one.
Right? We're
Bobby
thinking of you while you
Cassio.
date with messengers.
Yeah, no joke. Bobby Cassio says her old excuse was time, dating, ROTFL, rolling on the floor laughing. Is that what that is?
Yeah,
I'm not down with that young hip acronym talk, so I don't know.
right. Hey, I still look it up on urbandictionary.com,
You know,
even though I'm an elder.
whenever people write LOL or ROTFL, rolling on the floor laughing, are people really doing that? Do people actually take the time to laugh out loud? Like, are they laughing out loud when they type LOL?
No, I've thought about that. Like, think about it when you're typing a text and you're, I don't know, so blah, 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 da, 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 LOL, that's so funny to your friend. Your face probably is not even moving. So,
Ooh,
I think of it like very robotic. Like, look at how robotic we're becoming. Like, all this talk about AI, y'all, let's first not turn into robots ourselves. Okay. But yeah, you're sitting there like typing your text, doing your thing, but like you never change expression, but you're like, LOL, that is so funny. Like, what? I don't know.
Jesse
It's
and
just
Bobby,
things
Jesse
don't
and
line up.
Bobby say, Bobby and Jesse say they actually laugh out loud. So I'm
Good.
gonna throw that out there to the podcast universe here listening. If you're typing the text and you type LOL, take the time to laugh out
Actually,
loud.
yeah. It's therapeutic. Like,
Yeah,
takes
and
1 second.
just see what that feels like. Like actually laugh out loud. And if whatever you're typing is not a laugh out loud moment, don't type LOL.
That's what's funny is because it's literally become a buffer. Like, LOL has become a buffer. Like, "Oh, I don't know quite how to end this sentence, LOL." You know, like, it's just funny. But if we
It
actually
is
did stop and laughed like that, we'd realize, like you just explained with your example, most of the stuff we're saying that it's not laugh-worthy content, or
correct.
there's just something else you could say there to be more clear about what you mean. But yeah, no, I
That's pretty good.
definitely think it's funny.
When I use laugh, 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 it's because it's more than a chuckle. Fair enough. Final thought, Courtney, excuses.
Oh, just analyze them. Analyze them, dissolve them. Once you figure out what your excuse is, write it on a piece of paper, walk it out in your front yard, and light that thing on fire. And just, it's done. It's done. And then from there on out, anytime it pops up, you just Missy Elliott that. Like, flip it and reverse
And
it.
yeah, flip it and reverse it. That's my big one. You got to
Yeah.
flip it and reverse it and start the sentence with the truth is. If you catch yourself with an excuse, just flip it and reverse it and start the truth is. And guess what happens? The truth will come out.
Hmm. And when you do that, the truth is, feel free, especially if you're just starting out. It does get you more in your heart brain whenever you. And I think Greg Braden even talks about like just tap your heart like 5 times before you pray, so that you can get your brain and heart coherence going. So that's what putting your hand on your heart does. It lines up your brain and heart coherence.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
like Jesse says, the truth will set you free.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. And when will we be back, Courtney?
We will be back on Friday at 8
Yes,
a.m.
8
and
a.m.
you should join us. I don't know what we're doing, but it should be a fun one. It's Freestyle Friday. So join us at fourthstoregrowth.com, where you can find us on all your favorite platforms. And if you'd be kind enough to leave us some feedback, we will give you a high five.
High five.
High five.
Have a great day,
Thank you so much.
everybody. Bye.